Good evening, design community. Welcome to my design chat tonight. This is the design chat with Ida Laura. Today is May 5th of 2020. And today is a very exciting day because I have Fabric Cut and Jeffrey Michael's showroom sponsoring my live Instagram session. Jeff, the rep from South Florida, was so kind on sending me samples of the latest and best sellers Fabric Cuts fabrics. I put together a mini sample material boards just with these fabrics for you guys to appreciate the texture, the color, the patterns of these beautiful fabrics. Let me show it to you guys. These fabrics are, let me show you these ones as well. Exciting. These fabrics are water repellent, soil stain repellent, and they are also, they have also antimicrobial properties. These are treated with FiberGuard, easy to clean, and Alta soil stain repellent. And let me begin with these ones. These are treated with FiberGuard. This one is like a beautiful velvet look. They are over 75,000 double rugs and they're perfect for commercial use. Of course, you can always use it in residential use, but beautiful, perfect for commercial use. So FiberGuard, water repellent. This one, which I really love, when I see it, I was, in love. And it has easy to clean, stain repellent as well. And these beautiful blue palm trees, almost like with a sophisticated and a tropical feel, transport me to the Caribbean or maybe to the Mediterranean. It's beautiful. It almost looks like painted. I hope you guys can appreciate. Very, very beautiful. Beautiful. This one is my favorite. This one is Indie Velvet. And it has a velvetic, let me move this away. It has like a velvetic feel, like a velvet feel. It has greens, blues. FYI, blue is the Pantone color of the year. It has so many, it has like so many different textures and patterns that it feels really, really good on the skin. So I hope you guys can appreciate. This one has the Alta soil stain repellent, which is one of the highest in quality in the market. Also commercial grade, over 100,000 double rug. You can use it in hotels, restaurants, any commercial space. And the best thing, like I said, is water repellent, soil stain repellent, so perfect. I actually want to do a little experiment for you guys to appreciate and see how the water is repelled by, how the fabric repels the water. And I hope you guys can see it on the camera. So I'm gonna pour a little water here and let's see how the water is gonna stay there. Oh, I'm gonna do it again. Don't blink. Don't blink. Here. Oh, there it is. So you can see the water that stays there. Good. There it is. So it's not even wet. You're seated in a lounge chair in a hotel, restaurant. You're with your drink. You spill the drink. It's gonna repel the water. The staff can come and clean it. No stain. Even if you let it sit, it's very easy to clean with water and soap. So perfect for hospitality commercial use. Perfect. So Jeff should be here. Say hi, Jeff. Wave to everybody. Jeff is the South Florida rep. So if you guys want to order any samples from Fabric Cut, from Jeffrey Michael's showroom, he'll be happy to overnight it to you guys, to your house. He actually shipped it to my house. And he has so many options on color, price points, commercial, residential, and of course, one of the highest quality in the market. So now that you guys got to see the fabrics, and thank you again, Jeff, let me get to the topic tonight. We can start the design shot. Tonight, we have an old times controversial topic in the design community. I know it's like an old tale from my grandmother in the design community. Are you a designer? Are you an interior decorator? Are you an interior architect? Are you an architect? What are you? What are your capabilities? Everybody is confused. Some people even tell me, hey, can you come to my house to pick some throw pillows? I can do that as an interior designer, but I want to do more. And okay, so the topic, the difference among interior decorator, interior designers, and architects. Before going into each profession, we need to understand the knowledge of these professionals, their capabilities, the services that they provide, their education, the licensing requirements, and state regulations. Let's begin with the interior decorators. Decorating or decoration, let's describe it, is the furnishing of a space with beautiful or fashionable things while working within its functionality. For example, an interior decorator may recommend changing the layout of a room, the furniture, and the color of paint of an area. An interior decorator predominantly focuses on the look of a space. The decorator generally advises on color, textile, or fabric, room layouts, furniture styles, and other finishes depending on their experience. They will rarely propose extension or building work, so they will work with the existing interior walls and with the envelope of the building. If someone refers to themselves as an interior decorator, they will usually lean towards this type of services. And I'm gonna start bullet pointing those. Translating a client brief into a vision designed for the client. Create mood, material, and sample boards to express ideas and get the approval of finishes and fabrics from clients. Advice on interior finishes, fashion, trends, decor, accessories, sorry, that was my pet, and furniture. Design the overall look and feel of rooms with furniture, decor items, and finishes. They may provide an upcycling furniture services to creatively fit existing items into a new scheme. They can also provide a decorating service. So they can go literally to your house and paint the walls, install a wall covering. They can do all of that. Depending on their expertise, they might work specifically with furniture or decor retailers or tradesmen selling and promoting their products or services. Design or make supply soft furnishing such as window treatments, cushions, other fabric or textile items. There is no formal education required for an interior decorator, and there's no license or state regulation to call yourself an interior decorator. Good. Moving to the next one, interior design. There's so many interior design definitions that I first want to give you my personal interior design definition. And then I'm going to give you the CIDQ interior design definition, which is the Council of Interior Design qualification. So, my interior design definition. Interior design is the planning of its interior spaces, taking in consideration the health, welfare, and safety of the guests or of the people that are going to be in the interior environment. Design is inclusive, so it should be for everybody. Design is people. So you have heard me so many times talked about how I relate design with people. Interior design is the anticipation of interior environments. Interior design is creativity plus function with a little bit of icing on the top. That's how I describe interior design. Now I'm gonna give you the official interior design definition from CIDQ. Interior design is a distinct profession with specialized knowledge. I wanna read it because I don't wanna miss anything. Applied to the planning and design of interior environments that promote health, safety, and welfare while supporting and enhancing the human experience, founded upon design and human behavior theories and research. Interior designers apply evidence-based methodologies to identify, analyze, and synthesize information in generating holistic, technical, creative, and contextually appropriate design solutions. Interior design encompasses human-centered strategies that may address cultural, demographic, and political influences in society. Interior designers provide resilient, sustainable, adaptive design and construction solutions focusing on the evolution of technology and innovation within the interior environment. Qualify by means of education, experience, and examination. Interior designers have a moral and ethical responsibility to protect consumers and occupants through the design of code-compliant, accessible, and inclusive interior environments that address well-being, while considering the complex physical, mental, and emotional needs of people. So every time you find a definition of interior design, it ends up with people, even the official one. So I really love that official definition because it entails everything that interior designers can do. An interior designer professional is capable of project management, management of project budget, contract, schedule, consultants, staffing, resources. They are able to understand, document, and confirm the client stakeholders' goals, objectives, including the design outcome. So it's like the designer sometimes they can see the future. So they see the project, they see how the project is gonna look. Data collection. A designer, interior designer, is able to collect data from client and stakeholders by engaging in programming, surveys, charrette, benchmarking, etc. They also evaluate, assess, and document existing conditions of interior environments. So it doesn't have to be a new project. You can go and reuse the space of a specific project to a different thing. Application of creative and innovation thinking that interprets collected data and translate that in a unique, as an image or abstract idea in a design concept. And the design concept is the foundation of a design solution. They're also capable of selecting interior finishes, product materials, furniture, furnishing, equipment, casework, signage, window treatments, interior elements. They can do project budgets, etc. Of course, they develop documentation. They do floor plans, interior elevation, furniture plans, reflected ceiling plans, coordination plans, sections, schedules. The list goes on and on. Coordination. Interior designers are capable to coordinate and oversee non-structural and non-seismic interior design scope in concert with the scope of allied design professionals, included but not limited to architects, engineers, electrical engineers, mechanical engineers, plumbing, fire protection engineers, sustainable engineer, and they can also administrate the contract of the owners. Interior designer education consists in a 2 to 4 year education. So it could be an associate degree, a bachelor's degree, or a master's degree, one of the three. They have a certification from the National Council for Interior Design Qualification, which is the NCIDQ. Licensing, if your state demands it, depending on where you live or the state that you live. For instance, I live in the state of Florida, and we have a voluntary license to be able to sign and seal the contract documents for commercial projects such as hotels, restaurants, office spaces, etc. How an interior designer become licensed? First, like I mentioned, education. So you need an education, you need a degree from a CIDQ approved school. Experience, minimum 2 years, so 2 to 3 years working under a licensed interior designer or a licensed architect. Get NCIDQ certified. Those are 3 exams that you take. They sound simple, but they're not to your state. If registration or licensing is applicable to your legislation, maintain the licensing doing CEUs, right? So depending on where you live, you might be requested to do 20 CEUs, 15 CEUs every 2 years, every year, depending. So to keep your licensing, you need to do your CEUs. Before getting into the architects, I would like to bring up some cousins. That's how I call it, cousins of interior designers. And these cousins of interior designers are interior stylists, you probably might heard of it, interior stager, and there's another character wandering around, which is the interior architect. So those 3 cousins, right? Interior stylists focus on styling. They make the area or space look in a specific way. This can work with magazines, these professionals can work with magazines, photo shoots, styling spaces in TV shows, videos, or spaces to showcase products. Interior stagers, like interior stylists, but different in the way that their work revolves around an event, right? So think about a little bit about like an event planner. Not exactly, but kind of like an event planner. So they prepare that specific space for that event. For example, a property sale. So an interior stager can prepare the property for possible shows and open house. And that's for an event. That person comes in and decorate and move things around and stage the space. They usually work with existing furniture to make a space look some way for a specific event, like I mentioned before. They also rent furniture to stage these properties that are for sale. So they work with manufacturers or companies that lease the furniture and work with that furniture and then give it back in 2 months. So that's their business. Interior stylists and stagers, these are cousins of interior design, and a person with an interior design degree can perfectly find a job as an interior stylist or as an interior stager. Now, interior architects. This is let me drink water before this one, because this is a big one. Interior architects. How many of you have heard this term before? I want you to wave or say yes. Interior architect. Wave or say yes. Yes, okay, I see. Yes, 1, 2. I think there's a little delay in the video. 3, 4, 5, Okay, so some of you have heard interior architect. You have heard that term. Well, this term doesn't exist. No, sorry to tell you, it doesn't exist. The Board of Architecture and Interior Design prohibits the work of architect unless you are a licensed architect. So you cannot use the word architect. Don't use it. It's prohibited. Don't even junior architect, interior architect, staff architect, level 1 architect. Don't use the word architect. It's illegal. Don't use it unless you are licensed. The term came up because some design and architectural schools develop new curriculums and degrees and name it interior architecture. That's how it came up. And that's how people keep repeating and keep getting confused. For instance, I am an alumna of FIU with a master's in interior architecture. Usually on these programs, the curriculum includes several courses of architecture and prepares you to understand not only the interior spaces as an interior designer, but also the structure of the building, some elements and systems of the buildings that in other schools or other programs, you don't get to it. So that's why this curriculum was named or is named as interior architecture. Unfortunately, by having that degree, I cannot call myself an interior architect. I can. See, I wish, but I can. It is illegal in the United States, and I think it's illegal in other parts of the world, but I can only speak from my research that is in the United States. Fun fact, if you put interior architect title in a business card, you might get sued. You might get a fine if it's in your business. So if you have a title on your business card, go ahead and take it out of the way. So no, doesn't exist. Architecture, the art of practice of designing and building habitable structures. An architect is a person who plans, designs, and oversees the construction of buildings. To practice architecture means to provide services in connection with the design of buildings and the space within the site surrounding the buildings that have human occupancy or use as their principal purpose. The architect's scope of work includes and is not limited to creating a design concept that meets the requirement of the client and provides a facility suitable to the required use. Develop site plans, data collection, documentation, and building sections, exterior elevation. They produce window schedules, plumbing coordination, HVAC coordination with engineers. They do project management. They do selection of interior and exterior materials, energy calculation of the buildings, permitting and zoning, laws compliance. Architects are the one who deal with local and federal jurisdiction about regulations and building zones. And they have other many tasks. I just wanted to list out the principal ones. Architects license and education and license. All thought they are variations from place to place, but most of the world's architects are required to register with the appropriate jurisdiction. To do so, architects are typically required to meet 3 common requirements. Again, education, experience, and examination. Education requirement generally consists of a university degree in architecture. The experience requirement of degree candidates usually satisfied by internships or working under a licensed architect. And then finally, a registration, examination, or a series of exams is required prior to licensure. How, as an architect, you can get licensed? And I'm speaking in the United States, of course. So the first thing you need to do is to earn a degree in architecture from a NAB accredited program. gain and document the required experience. So I think it's 2 to 3 years, depending on the state that depending where you live. Pass the ARE, which is the architect registration examination, and those are 6 exams. Meet any extra jurisdiction requirement that maybe your states require. Have your NCAR record transmitted to the jurisdiction where you would like to be licensed. Again, sounds simple, but if we get in depth of the exams, the 6 exams, and the process and the experience and all of that, it's not that simple as it sounds. In summary, there are overlaps in the 3 professions, and maybe an architect will be selecting interior finishes without an interior specialization. Perhaps an interior designer could coordinate with an engineer or another professional in the construction like an architect will do. On the other hand, and listen to this careful, on the other hand, an interior decorator by any means will design buildings or prepare construction documents, and that's something you have to put in your head. There's no way an interior decorator without any education, they are able to get that, to collect that information and put it in documentation, because this group doesn't have the education required. So that's the summary of it. In short sentences, for you to memorize, and now that you have seen my live about interior decorators, interior designers, and interior and architects, you can say that you know, that you perfectly understand the difference. These are my last 2 cents for you to memorize. Interior decorators, furniture and finishes selection, no education required. Interior designers, the list is long of the things that they can do: project management, concept design, construction documents, interior floor plans, contract documents, the list is on. Architects, they can do everything an interior designer could do, plus the study of the surrounding, the site plans, the building envelope, the exterior elevation, the structure, the sections. They can also do the permitting. Interior stylists and interior stagers, these are cousins of interior design, and an interior designer can perfectly perform that job with their degree. Interior architects, don't repeat it, take it out of your vocabulary. The term doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. It's illegal in the USA. Don't put it in your business card or business page or web page or social media or resume or portfolio. Take it out. Don't confuse degrees. That's something completely different. And I really want to tell you an anecdote. When I was in school doing my master's degree in architecture, I was in my last semester taking my professional class course, and the last assignment was to prepare the package of your branding. So you needed to put together your portfolio, your resume, to design your business card, and to prepare that for your thesis presentation and give that away when the people will approach to you, or interview or something. So I went to my review with my professor, and she was going over everything, and she saw my business card. Of course, I had printed like a box of 1,000 before because I was always ahead of the game. So I had everything printed and ready for her. When she saw that I put Ida Laura and then under my name, interior architect, she almost had a heart attack. She was like, is this just a template? Is this just a sample of how the business card are gonna look? And I was like, no, I already have a box of 1,000 ready for the presentation that is in 2 weeks. And she was like, okay, so this is what you're gonna do. Just tell them when you give it away, tell them that it's a school project, that is an exercise, and that's why you put interior architect, because you're not supposed to be You're not supposed to put interior architect because you're not an interior architect. You are an interior designer. You're graduating to be an interior designer. So I want you to always remember that. Now, before wrapping up, I want you to start thinking on your questions, and I'm gonna start reading now my the survey results of all the surveys that I've been doing during the week. So for those who are new in my account, I do surveys every week about the topic that I'll be talking on Thursdays. So I'll share the results with you guys. So 70% of my followers knew the difference between interior designer and interior decorators. Woohoo! Now the 30% knows that difference. 90% of my followers knew that interior decorators don't need a degree to practice. That's good, 90%, so most of you. 88% of my followers knew that exterior materials and site plans are developed by architects and not interior designer. Very good that you knew that too. Now the other percentage know that architects are the one who do that. 70% of my followers knew that interior designers consider cleanability, toxicity, flammability, and durability when selecting finishes. So the other 30%, now you guys know that we are the one who does that. And there was another one that I put, and it was really, I actually didn't write it down, but now I remember that I also put it. I put a question on which professional are the ones who do material boards, and I think that the 75% of you guys put interior designers, but interior decorators, architects, and the interior designers, the three of us, we do material boards because that's just simply putting materials to show the client get the approval. So just a clarification. Now I am gonna give you a couple minutes. We're almost wrapping up. We are 3 minutes over. I have 2 questions here that you guys did ahead of time. So let me wait 2 more minutes for you guys, if you guys have any questions or comments. Let me see. Okay. I see one question coming in. When or how can I start to call myself an interior decorator? An interior decorator, this is Jose Carrasco. So for you to call yourself an interior decorator, you don't need any degree. You can be straight out of high school and you can do a business card and put Jose Carrasco, interior decorator. No degree needed. Let me know if I answer your question. It's a little delay in the connection. So if enroll in an interior architecture program, you will ultimately graduate as an interior designer. Correct, Ingrid. So either in a interior design degree or an interior architecture degree, you're gonna call yourself an interior designer. Yes, correct. While you guys keep posting your questions, let me go over these 2 questions that were posted ahead of time from you guys. So the first one, how does an interior designer knows when he or she should collaborate with an architect in a project? That's a very interesting question. So whenever you see that there's walls and that are structural, and when you are seeing, let's say, plumbing work or electrical work, things that are out of your capabilities, out of your knowledge, that's when you start understanding that you need to engage another professional. You need to engage an electrical engineer. You need advice from an structural engineer to be able to know if you can demo that wall or not. So at the moment that you feel that the project scope has things that are out of your knowledge, that's when you have to engage different professionals. We'll still do structure, so it doesn't take the architect side of us, even though we are not named interior architecture. Diana, you do interior walls, interior partitions. I don't know if that's what you meant, but yeah. Okay. So the next one, this is the last question I have. So if you guys have another question, I'll take one more after this one because we are past the time. Can I become licensed interior designer with an architectural degree? Another interesting question. I actually have a bachelor's in architecture, and I also have a master's in interior architecture. Can I become a licensed, before even having a master's in interior architecture, was I able to become a licensed interior designer? Yes, of course. So you just have to do your internship. You have to work under a licensed interior designer to get your hours, or a licensed architect, and then just study for the test. Just apply for the test, make sure that you have all your credentials approved, and study. So yes, you can, with an architectural degree, you can become a licensed interior designer for sure. I'm gonna take one more question. So an architect can be interior designer without a degree. An architect can be, I think I just answered that question. This is Paula. Paula, tell me yes or no if okay. Yeah. So I just answered that question. Yes, so with an architectural degree, if you go to school to be an architect and you wanna become a licensed interior designer, yes, you can do that. Okay, good. Okay, guys, if you don't have any other question, I see one. What do you like the most, architecture or interior design? I'm gonna take this last one, Diana. So, to be honest, I like both, and I can say that sometimes I feel more passionate about interior design just because I have the connection with the people, and I feel that I'm designing for that is real, that the people is gonna get to enjoy the space, and it's not like architecture that unless you arrive to the buildings in helicopters, you're gonna be able to see the plans every time you arrive to the building. So I like both, but I have a little inclination or more passion towards interior design. Good. Well, thank you guys. Thank you for joining me. I hope you guys join me next Thursday. Bye. Good night. Thank you, Fabricad.